Good morning, everyone. This is Praful Kulkarni, and I have Shreyas alongside me. And I welcome you all to yet another episode of the Candid Traders podcast, Decluttered. And in this week's podcast, we have with us Yogeeswar Pal. And for the first time, we have someone who's younger to both I and Shreyas. So, Yogeshwar will be the youngest
Yeah,
guest to feature on this podcast as of now. We might get younger speakers further, but as of now, Yogeshwar would be the youngest guest on our podcast. So, Yogeshwar is a full-time trader. Right after graduating from the college, he started trading. So we've got a lot of insight from Yogeshwar, especially when someone is starting up at such an young age. So we might get a lot of insight from Yogeshwar as to what problems one would face, especially when you have to pull up the capital from the family and when you don't have the savings of your own, and then you'll be trading others' money in your initial day. So how does it affect psychologically? How do you have to ramp up your quantities? How do you have to progress into the trading, and what all the methodology that he adopted over the time? So we have Yogeshwar with us, and I welcome you for this episode.
hello everyone. Thank you for having me, Shreyas and Praful.
It is our pleasure, Yogeshwar. And first of all, just as Praful said, at the age of 26, it just shows you that in market, age doesn't matter. It's just about the time and experience and work that you put in. And really excited, looking forward to everything that you have to add to the viewers of this podcast. And uh, why don't you start with telling us a little bit about yourself, how you got your entire, story around how you got into the markets and your journey so far. And after that, we'll have a lot of questions for you. So,
Uh, yeah, I'm from Tamil Nadu and I come from a small town, Trichy. It's not a small town. Yeah, and I graduated graduated in naval architecture from Visakhapatnam, Indian Maritime University, and I've been exposed to market since very young. It's like both my parents were. Father was a investor, my mother was a trader. So my first trade was when I was in 10th standard leave in options. It's like I traded stock options from another cell phone. And before that, also I used to watch what to say, how the market does, how it compare Nifty is, compare Bank Nifty is, because my parents were watching, so I was also watching. So from college, I joined naval architecture, which I wasn't interested in. Everyone's parents were forcing us to join engineering that time. So we were joining engineering as such, and we were deciding our careers after that. So same story with me. So I also did the same, but it gave me a lot of time to do stuff. Like central government college, all you have is time and hostels. Like I used that time to do my research, and I got scholarship money in college also, and I used it to trade actually. So from there itself, traded like first 2 years in my college I traded. First year actually I did very well buying options. Like I was doing break even whole year, which was very good considering I was a novice and I was buying options. Second year I blew out because I wasn't following the rules which I was following in my first year. So I was fed up because my friends were like enjoying life. I was, what to say, having my first blowout.
The hustle
Everyone will
mode.
know how the blowout feels.
The hustle mode.
And yeah, and I was like too depressed, so I started enjoying my third and fourth year in college. And I studies was easy. Basically, engineering is was easy. I felt like, and I had good grades, but I never sat for placements or something because I knew I was going to be a trader in my second year itself. So I was doing that, and I told this to my parents. My father had reservations. He said he knew about trading. He was a trader now, and family background was also a check. So we had reservations, but I was stubborn or arrogant, whatever you call it, and he gave me money. Basically, he thought I'd do it and go back to studying or try a job. So he gave me like 1.5 lakhs. It was in 2017 August, and I didn't go. Started selling options in stocks, but I wasn't doing very well. So 2017 was like very very slow market. It had no premiums or anything. So I I had to change that itself. Like I started buying futures, and I got lucky basically. Whatever I bought went up, and I doubled my money in a single month. I bought India Bulls housing finance futures, kept on going up. I doubled my money. I made 1.5 lakhs in a single trade. It's like
Uh,
a good thing I did is I took that 1.5 lakhs I bought Kotak Bank as investment, because
Wonderful.
after that I never made money. Till 2018 March, I never made money, and some personal issues came up in family. So I thought of quitting trading at that point because nobody could finance my losses also. So I went back to preparing for CAT. Then again, I couldn't do it. I hated exams so much. So again, I came back. I had some capital left over. Like I had that Kotak Bank investment and one more lakh with me. So I thought I'll do trading only. I'll try my hands on what to say selling options again. Because in 2018 February January, VIX came up again near 20 from 13 12 levels. So there's some issue with North Korea. It's part of, and VIX came up. I started my hands on selling Bank Nifty options. It's like I always traded stock options only, but I had some leftover money which I know some options will go to zero on expiries. So sold them. I was making the collecting those pennies. I was like, why don't I do this? Collect those pennies instead of trading a riskier stock option. So that way, trial and error. I was doing well actually. In 2.5 lakhs, I was making 2 3K in a month. It's like I should scale up. I asked my mother more money. She couldn't give me. She pawned her jewels and not pawned. She mortgaged her jewels and gave me one more lakh, 1 or 1.5. So I had 4 lakhs, and with that, I started trading, and I was doing well again. Like doing well means I was not losing money. That's doing well for me,
Absolutely.
and that way I was making money, but it wasn't. You can't live off it. Like you are watching your friends make a salary of 30 or 40K. They can live with it. They can do something. They're doing something meaningful. So my sister also said the same, and but I, this time I was having some confidence. It's like I can do this. I can do this. But again came October. I remember an expiry where I lost 9% in a small capital. 17 October 2018. That was the first expiry I lost in my life. Well, it's like it was I lost 40K in over 4 lakh capital. I, I thought I can control the market. I kept on rolling down calls, kept on rolling down puts. Nothing was. The market gapped up 300 points, close 300 points. It was so bad. And that was eye opener. But again, till 2018 November, I was trying only expiry trades, nothing else. Only on expiry day I traded, and I was getting better at it. So at some point, I got more confidence. So we started a chit, like we pull our funds, and they give you out the money like monthly. You have to pay 20K, and so I took out like 4 lakhs from that. First month itself, I took out the money, and I had to pay 20K every month for that. So, but my capital went up to 8 lakhs, and I was doing only expiry trades, nothing else. I was making 1 lakh per month suddenly from here. It was 2018 November, and that was financial freedom according to me at that point. Because 1 lakh, I never imagined I would make it that easily or that quick or that sooner. I was making 20K in every expiry. We had 2.5x leverage that time also.
Hmm.
So yeah, at that point itself it kicked off, and my parents were happy that I wasn't losing money. So I had the support of them. So again, I took one more check. I increased my capital to 13 lakhs by that time, and I was in compounding at that point also because there were expenses. I was keeping on paying the shit, and they were doing like I was living off this money also. So I couldn't compound, and I was posting this on Twitter actually. My expiry dates. And 2019 was a golden year. Basically, it has no rough period for me. It's like kept on went up. And I met Jitendra sir in Twitter. He saw my trades. I used to post my trades on. Mitesh Patel used to post his screenshots. I used to ask him doubts. So that way he used to clarify my doubts. Also, one more sir is Angad sir. He also used to post his screenshots.
Angad Singh.
There all, yeah, there also I used to ask doubts, and the doubts were so like expiry traders doubts. Like, what will you do if this happens? Or market falls, where is your stop loss? Like basic questions. So from there, I was asking the right questions. So Jitendra sir saw me. He asked me, "What are you doing?" Because I was making money consistently. So from that, I told him what I'm doing. He told me manage money for me also. I'll give you 5 lakhs. Uh, I thought he was kidding because nobody gives money like that. He just met me on Twitter, but he sent the money, sent not money. He put it in an account and he sent me account ID and password. I was baffled. How can a guy do this? But thing was, I was not equipped to manage other people's money. So like I couldn't do expiry trading on mine and his. It's like I don't want to do it because I rely on my money for my living. So I don't want to lose concentration on both of them. So next time what he did, he took the flight and came to my home to see me for really checking what I do. He came to Trichy for a single day on expiry days. We used to do it for 1 month. And he checked me what I'm doing. He gave me an account for 40 lakhs. And I traded in that. It was a big account for me that time. So from there, our relationship grew. And there was so many back and forth. But yeah, I started managing money from there only, bigger money. So 2019 went like that. I didn't. He asked me to come to Mumbai, but I didn't move also. And because I was making, I felt I was making ample money at that time, so why to move? But after a point, I felt my capital wasn't growing. I was just spending money, so I thought of moving. And by 19 end, COVID came, and I was panicking literally in December itself. When the first news of COVID came in China, I literally panicked because my mama came from Singapore to home. I literally panicked. This guy might have COVID and he might spread. So I was postponing my trip to Mumbai because of that. I should have come by January 1st, but I came in February 15, 2020. 15 days afterwards, we were in lockdown, I think. No, we were in March mid, we were in lockdown. But yeah, I was panicking because of COVID, which helped me. I doubled my money in March 2020 by trading it. I was buying puts. So it was basically panicking at the right time made money for me. And I remember last week of March, it was one of the craziest weeks crush ever. March 2020. You sell any option, you make money. Whatever option you take and sell, you make money. It was insane. There also, I actually bought option, made money. First half, second half, I sold option, made money. Both were working. It was like that. April was crazy. I was shorting the market was going up, but I was shorting OTM calls, so I didn't lose anything. That's basically how 2020. 2020 afterwards, it was smooth Mumbai, and 21 also was smooth. Now we are at 22. Basically, I
Nice.
kept on scaling up from there. Now I'm at 2 CR.
You handle
Yeah.
2 CR
Wow.
now.
No, it's personal money is 2 CR. I handle much more.
Personal money in the sense your money or the chit funds money?
It's not chit funds money. It's basically my money. Now I paid off everything.
Okay. So how much,
Wonderful.
what's the total capital that you're handling right now?
That I can't reveal
Okay.
because it's not up to me to reveal.
Okay. Got it. Got it.
Absolutely. No, first of all, excellent. I mean, what a journey. I want to go over a couple of things. Firstly, like people should notice how much, and this is the same case for me and Praful as well, the family support system that is there to say, okay, we will support you on this. Like it takes a lot of guts for any family to say we will raise capital Even if like at least let's say you already had a huge amount of capital that they could get, that's different. You had to raise it from a chit fund and then like do all that. And that shows the kind of confidence also that your parents must have had, because I know for a fact no Indian parent is just going to take money like that and give it to their kid
No, it
unless
was
uh, yeah.
it took a lot of what to say make them believe also, because they were traders themselves. Like they
Hmm.
have had a very bad experience with trading.
Okay.
So they were like they saw me and they saw my expectations out of market, which was very different from what to say normal outside people, successful people. What he expects, successful person in market, he expects something out of market, which is very different from a layman. A layman, what he expects from market is bizarre.
So basically, you
He,
were expecting some sensible returns. You had a sensible
yeah,
approach.
they saw it and they had a revelation that way. They saw it as a business for the first time. So that I gave the confidence to them that I could sustain it. My father never knew about options. He thought he is only like future trader. So
Okay.
future people, once they make money, they will stick to it. I made that money in that trade. They stick to it. They do futures only. So their expectations will be very high. He basically, when he gave me the first 1.5 lakh, he used to say from this one you have to grow, which was bizarre because yeah, 1.5 lakh you can grow it, but not from where you started 10 lakhs. So it is a way tougher journey if you are starting at 1.5 lakhs. If you are starting at 10 lakhs, I prefer 20 lakhs at this point. From 10 lakhs, you can actually make some money or spend it somewhere. But 1.5 lakhs, you will make hardly 2K. Well, what will you do with it? It's like wasting your time, basically.
Absolutely.
What I noticed is how he used Twitter to get himself few mentors by asking the right questions. I mean, I think you also agreed to this. You get a lot of comments, a lot of DMs from people, and they ask all the lame questions. Sir, आपका strategy क्या है? Sir, आप option selling करते हैं, buying करते हैं? Sir, आप straddle करते हैं, strangle करते हैं? So, if you ask the right questions, Twitter is a great place to get mentors, right? So most of the
True, true.
questions, most of the comments that you get, you will be forced to ignore them just because those questions don't have any weight in them, right?
Correct.
So what I noticed is Yogeshwar asked the right questions and he was getting replies from people like Angad Singh
And,
and Mitesh Patel just because
yeah.
his questions were legit. His questions were, they had weightage in them. So one thing that I want to, tell the people, like, tell the audience who are watching this is Twitter is a great place to learn, and I think everyone is there to help each other. It's not like ये मेरी strategy है, मैं किसी को बताऊंगा नहीं, ये मेरा ये, nobody is like that, because I know for a fact that any mature trader, he knows that his his strategy won't become obsolete or something just because, like, a lot of people start using it or something. So they'll be more than happy to teach their things. It's just that they'll be looking for a good mentor looks for a good mentee. So if you ask the right question, definitely you'll get the reply. So if you want to network, stop asking lame questions on Twitter, stop commenting lame things on Twitter, and ask the right questions. You'll definitely get good responses from all nice people. So that's what I wanted to say.
Most people congratulate or what to say, say if you post a loss they want to shame you. It's like that. But if you ask the right market fell, sold a straddle, whether you buy a put or whether you put a correct stop loss on your sold puts, what is the correct way for that day to
Hmm.
trade?
Hmm.
These were the kind of questions I was asking. Like those are legit questions to ask for a newbie, because when I sold a put and market fell, I on a expiry day I always knew that I always had a doubt where to put the stop loss
Hmm.
or to sell as a credit as a newbie. So these were some of the questions I kept on asking. So yeah, they were forced to answer because these were questions. If you are what to say, as a practitioner, they were also had the same doubt when they started.
Yeah.
So they answered also. It's that way I was also like, okay, they answered.
Okay.
First of all, superb build up, like Yogeshwar, with respect to how it happened. And to a lot of people who are new to the market, that's the kind of story that they want to play out as well. Something I want to point out here is that clearly, when you know what you're doing, when you're able to convince people, be it your parents or be it in this case, you spoke about Jitendra sir coming and you were shocked that he was willing to give you 40 lakh rupees to trade with. It just shows that if you know what you're doing, there is no dearth of money. People will give you money. There is no lack of people who say, okay, you know what you're doing. It clearly shows, I'm convinced that you will be able to make money. Here, you don't have money, I will give you money. There's no limitation. There are a lot of people with money sitting around, they don't know what to do with it, and the reason they don't use it themselves to try and generate a return is because they don't have the confidence in themselves, but they have confidence in someone whose performance they can see. And that's why capital in markets is not difficult to access if you know what you do, if you put in enough work and you're able to show that work to people. And it's so easy now with social media to reach out to different people and say, you know what, I have this particular thing that I want to run. And it's not like I have many people who reach out to me, they backtest a strategy, they send me the results and say, Bandi bro,
Exactly.
I have this strategy, we can run it, look at the results, it's so good. That is not going to help, man.
Tell me
you
about that,
you
Shreyas. Seriously.
right, you put in work, you put in whatever money you can, use it over time, trade for a year, 2 years, 3 years, come back and say, look, this is how I have performed, I've actually executed this trade, this is what I run. There are people who will give you money. Like right
Exactly.
now,
Yeah.
I mean, social media is one place. Secondly, there are events, right? So yesterday there was a event where there were multiple traders and held by a broking firm, and right now there is again traders carnival which is going on in Goa. What do you think these events are for? These events are not just for people who come and like speak about strategies and stuff, it's for networking. So somebody goes there and say, you know what, this is the strategy I'm running, this is all the data. There are people who will be happy to give you money. In fact, that's what Traders Carnival, majority of the audience, what they're doing there, right? The people who have gone, they're like, okay, I need to scout for people to whom I can give my money, right?
Exactly.
And they can this thing. So that fallacy also is, you know what, I'm very smart, I know what I'm doing, I'm an excellent trader, but I don't have money, that's why I can't make, is a stupid fallacy. Be it your parents or be it outsider, your family or outsiders, they'll only give you money if they think you have some idea of what you're doing, and a good idea, obviously. So
Exactly. And
uh,
another thing is, if you want to approach an investor for money, first make sure that you have the skin in the game. Don't just backtest some strategy by writing some code or some platform and then show the results. Hey, I've come out with a new strategy. Bro, you have just iterated something. You don't actually have the skin in the game.
Yeah.
So if you put your own money, be it as small as possible, and then show, okay, this is my capital, I give it so and so by taking this much risk, my drawdown is so and so, look at this, I actually have the skin in the game, and I'm capable of handling the real money. So that makes the difference. And as you said, Shreyas, there are a lot of people who approach. I know that, I know for a fact that they approach you, they approach me also. People like, they are who are college students. They're like, sir, मैंने ये बैक टेस्ट किया है, ऐसे ऐसे एडजस्ट करना है, ये करना है, can you give me your money? Like, bro, first raise your money from your parents. If they can't trust you with a minimum amount of capital, what makes you think that a stranger will trust you? Have skin in the game to a certain extent, and then come back after results. As you said, trade for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. So that patience is required, right? You can't expect, okay, मैंने 15 दिन ट्रेड किया, 15 दिन में इस ट्रेड वर्कआउट हो गया, and you expect that, okay, the investors will come, in queue handing their checks to me. That's not gonna happen. Like, you should be patient also, and you should be diligent, and at the same time you should have skin in the game.
Most people, what they do, they don't want to go through that initial phase of forward testing on themselves.
Exactly.
They have the back test, but they don't want the initial small capital forward testing for themselves. They want to suddenly start at making 1 lakh a day. Immediately, I want that point where I want to make 1 lakh in a day. That is also is not correct. They always like think that first getting in. What happened with me is I had a terrific 2019, but all along the year, my thought process was I was getting lucky. It felt as such. So, like, I'm getting lucky. This is not skill, nor market is just providing me money by luck. I always felt like that in every drawdown I had. That of whatever happened till this time, I got lucky. Now I have no skill. Every drawdown felt like that. But only after like 4 or 5 drawdowns, and I came up from the drawdown, did I feel like I felt like I have some confidence in myself. It's like each drawdown makes a trader. Like money, what you make, money doesn't make you confident. From each drawdown and how much drawdown it is, and from there, if you come up, it feels more better. Like, we made money not by luck, we made by our skill only. Like, drawdown defines you as a trader. Like, how you manage the phase of drawdowns, how you are psychologically there, and how you handle it. That's what defines you as a trader, in my opinion.
Absolutely, because you know, at some point, at least for some period of time, you feel like, okay, do I really know what I'm doing? And this question invariably comes up when sometimes when you're making money, also this question comes up. Sometimes when you take a loss, right? Maybe one particular day you take a loss, you feel like, do I really know what I'm doing? Like it's that
Yeah,
question in some form will come. And then when you see that, you know, I've overcome this, the kind of confidence boost it gives you is unparalleled, because you're like, I've reached new equity high. I've
Exactly.
overcome this, right? And one more point, I wanted to come back to what Yogesh, you were talking about expectation. Like, be it you or Praful or me. Now, you have friends who graduated from college and they're earning X amount per year. Let's say if you graduated from an engineering college, it's been about 5 years. People be earning between, let's say, at least 10 to 15 CTC. We can think, right? Now, to earn 10 to 15 CTC from the market, you need to have a considerable capital. I would say minimum you will have to have around the 50 lakh mark. And yesterday, in Mitesh's talk also, he was talking about this. Previously I said without 10 lakhs don't even come. He's saying without, like, if you really want to make a career about it, if you have 10 lakhs, what will you do with it? Even if you generate 30 lakhs, 35% return, it'll be 3.5 lakhs. That's nothing. All your friends are
yeah.
making more, and you're putting in like all this effort and breaking your head. It's
It's
just
mentally devastating to, like, uh, drawdown periods will like kill you. It's
Exactly.
not
right.
even worth trading and making 3.5 lakhs a
And
year. It's
especially
not
if you're
even worth
taking
it.
money, and especially if you're taking money from your trading account to live.
Correct.
Yeah, yeah. It's like there are phases where you'll be crying. You can't face your relatives. You can't face your family. It's like it feels like you've lost your life. Those period, it's not worth doing it for 3.5 lakhs
Correct.
a year.
And the thing is, I mean, on top of that, just to add, see, basically at the end of the day, you need to feel that, okay, I'm this whole thing is worth it. And for that you have to
Yeah.
bring the capital. And if your capital is low and you're like, okay, with 10 lakhs I'm going to try to still make 10 lakhs or 15 lakhs, then you're aiming for 150% return. You're going to take stupid kinds of risks. You're going to take
Yes.
all kinds of tail risk, and that is going to end badly at some point of time. Now, if you're trying to, I mean, if you target lower and you earn higher, great. But if you're targeting itself, this year I want to triple my capital, then you're on a different kind of path itself, right?
Yeah, yeah. That's what most people look at markets for 100% return minimum. Uh, People who are actually traders, successful traders or investors, their lookout is for 20-25% max.
Exactly.
Anything above, they're very happy actually. So
Yeah.
as the capital gets larger, you want smaller returns. You don't want higher returns. Higher returns is inherently higher returns means your capital is at risk. Nobody wants that. So most people, laymen, they don't get it actually. They see it as a place where after Bitcoin, it's something else places.
Hmm.
It's like most people are like, well, you're making only this much. I'm like, I'm happy with it. Leave me alone. You should have invested in Bitcoin. Bitcoin is like killing young generation.
Yeah. So I want to go to the next part here. So Yogeshwar, you now work at a prop desk in a situation where you have multiple traders in the room. And I mean, I've never been in such environment, neither has Praful. So we're very, we have
Isolated.
no idea what isolated to how that feels. And, because I've always wondered, how will somebody else's opinion interfere with your opinion? And will it give help, or will it actually do the opposite? So can you walk us through a little bit about how that whole system functions, that environment, how it is?
It is fun to work with other people, but the thing is, we can't say I'm actually at a prop desk. We are just a team, but they're all so systematic. It's like they're systems traders, and I'm the only discretionary guy out there. So it feels still I feel alone there. It's like I'll be checking on different trades. They're all intraday traders, and only Yogeshwar carries positions. We are all intraday traders. And yeah, sometimes market gets directional. That's when everybody poop up. It's like it has to stay in this direction. Then only we will make money. When that situation comes, that's when it feels like when I lose money and they also lose money, someone is with us. That
By the
feeling
way,
is something.
Yogeshwar, you said that all others in your room are systematic traders and you are the only discretionary trader, right? So when you have a majority of the people doing something, so has it rubbed off on you? Have you got influenced? Have you at one point thought that, okay, I should at least think about, quitting discretionary trading and, converting myself into system trader? Has that thought ever crossed your mind?
Consider putting money on systems, but
Mm-hmm.
I never consider quitting as a discretionary trader because I'm a
Quitting, I think
compulsive trader.
quitting is a too strong a word. So I would say just, changing yourself as a system, because I know a lot of people who changed themselves from discretionary trading and completely, became system traders.
To be brutally honest, I trade because I like the high. So I never considered quitting trading, quitting discretionary trading. I'm
I
making
can, I
money out
can,
of it. Why
I
quit?
can relate to that, because see, I run the algorithms parallelly. I have the algorithms running, and yet my personal money I trade discretionary, because once you
That's
trade discretionary, only by trading discretionary you can form your systems. That's
true.
what I
And
believe in.
you can get new ideas.
Exactly. Yeah.
You'll be always like, what happens? Say I sell a straddle, and what happens after X point move? I buy to
Correct.
hedge it instead of cutting my. That's it. It comes from discretionary because I used to do it.
Correct. Correct.
So we form a system based out of it. You get a lot of new ideas based on it.
Yeah, because I know a lot of people who backtest, right? Backtest gives you point A and point B. It doesn't show you the journey between point A to point B. You don't know what's the MTM lows, what's the MTM highs, what would have happened if you had booked at the MTM highs when that MTM high happened. That will only come from the screen time. And
Yeah,
you can only able
yeah,
to give the screen time if you're discretionary trading.
yes. And even fully, if I am systematic fully, even I'll take part of my capital trade on my compulsive trade. It's like I want to trade,
Passion.
I don't want to do it. Yeah,
It's the
I'm
passion
like
for
a
trade.
whatever you like. Do give me full free time. If the market is open, I'm trading. I'm that like that kind of thing. It's like I want to trade. I love it.
That's in,
Wonderful.
today. Just I read a tweet which says that once the work becomes non-transactional, you have already retired.
That's
So you're
a
trading for the
Yeah,
high.
but when you love something a lot, you never want to retire. So that's his
Exactly.
point.
Exactly.
So yeah. So here's what I want to get to, Yogeshwar. So you have all these people, and because you're a discretionary trader, you always form a view, right? You form a
Hmm.
view and then you execute a trade. Like, and let's say the systems that your colleagues are running, they're generating signals. Do you Does that interfere with you? Because I felt this sometime back when I was sitting and trading with a few other people. I've not done it very often, but when they were expressing their view, I felt like I was getting disturbed, because for me, I've always felt my wrong view is better than sitting with multiple people and getting a right view out of it, because execution becomes a problem. I'm always questioning myself while
Okay.
placing the trade. Should I be doing this or not? So can you get into that nitty
It
gritty a little bit?
invariably happens, but the systems are also designed such that it has a lot of strategies. So sometimes it gets directional, sometimes it's not directional. So you can't actually monitor every signal that the system generates and it trades. It's too many. So if I'm concentrating on that, I'm never going to trade myself. So uh, it rubs off obviously, but I've learned to protect myself from it. You have to at some point. So yeah, it happens. That's my answer. It happens. But I like trading with those guys. I'll do it anyway. It's a small payoff.
Nice.
Absolutely.
I trade like what Bondi does, but what to say? I have the cushion of like I'll make profit there, so let me do something else there. I take such trades, and I also like what to say. I tablet those trades and see my P&Ls. I'm decently in green, so I never thought of stopping those also. So I'll randomly take a stock and go long. I did this multiple times. I sell options on those stocks, and yeah, it's making money. Why stop it? I'm like that kind of. Give me any product, I'll trade it. It's like that.
Right. No, I mean, see, sometimes it's difficult to explain. And sometimes we ourselves will not comprehend completely how we came up with the feel of it. But intuition
Yeah,
is a thing. Intuition is
yeah.
a thing, and gut feeling is a thing. You see, when you talk about back test systematically, what are you trying to achieve? The same thing, right? Like, whereas sometimes either you need to understand if your intuition is good or bad. Like, and over
Like
time, if
few days
intuition,
back, few days back, everyone was long on the system. They were shouting, hey, "This is going up. This is going up." And they were trading the index fully. They're making good money also. Jitendra sir saw what I'm trading. I was trading Tata Steel. He was like, "Why are you trading Tata Steel?" I felt like it's going up. It was also going up for 5-6%. It's going up. I'll trade that. I was selling like 15, 20 lots of options in there. So it made money. I'm like, I don't stick with some rules and trade. Like I won't trade only Nifty alone, or I also buy options. I have no what to say. Like I'm comfortable buying options also. Like I feel like it's going to go up. Why only make 30 points? I want to make 300 points. I'll make it. It's like I feel like that. I'll do it. I'm confident because I'll first do a naked buy, which is very easy to adjust whatever happens if you have the capital. So if I'm going wrong, I'll easily adjust or exit at a small loss since it's a buy. It's like I'm that kind of a trader. Like people always ask me, how do you trade? I can never explain. So this Jitendra sir also advised me to like make a video like Bandi, you can do it. And like people scold me if they see the video. It's like I can't do it. It's like I'm too chaotic. But I
I
make
totally
money.
understand where you're coming from, Yogeshwar, and clearly it's very difficult to explain. And even when I thought of ways to generalize how you trade, you can't, because it's called
Yeah.
discretion for a reason.
I
Yeah.
agree.
I mean, you can sort of explain it, but then people will be like, "You're
No,
not."
there'll
Like
always
You're
be
people
corner
are
cases
like,
with discretion trading. There'll always be corner cases.
yeah, yeah. So I think one thing that becomes very evident here is that while somebody might be saying it's my intuition, you have to understand that intuition comes from hundreds and thousands of hours of looking at the same damn thing. Because at the end of the day, analysis becomes better the more you have studied something. And there is no substitute, no matter what you do, for staring at the screen, staring at the chart, looking at how that thing behaves, how it is going to roll. There is no excuse for, I mean, there's no alternative, right? So Yogeshwar, I just would like to get like your bit in terms of people who are coming in, and you're extremely young and doing so well at a young age. What would you like to tell those people who want to like live your story, where you started off with basically no capital and then were able to get to this stage? So
Yeah, because I know a lot of people who are just about to graduate who want to directly take up trading. So, first, tell them, is it possible? If it's possible, what are the kind of supports that they are looking for? And what should be their approach?
I basically haven't worked anywhere like a trader all my life. So I'm totally dependent on it. So I can't talk about how works go work here because I've never had the experience. But people who are graduating, in my opinion, from my story, right now it's not worth trading or living of it. Because say you start with how much can your parents provide you. Like you're from a normal family background, say they give you 5 lakhs max or minimum. You can't live with it. Say because as a trader, if you want it as a full-time job, you have to first manage your expectations. Your expectation is should not be more than 5%. That is, I'm on the higher side. I'm saying, and for 5% of 5 lakhs is 25,000. You're going to be disappointed. So I'm not going to say go work, build up your capital. I also don't know the answer here, basically. But you need capital to enter. This is capital markets.
Hmm.
It's a barrier for everyone. Most people don't cross the barriers because of the capital requirements, in my opinion. Most people have good technical analysis. The execution part becomes difficult because of capital constraints, and they have to go through this what the cycle I went through. I feel like, because you're going to be disappointed, you're going to have drawdowns. It's better it happens in small capital than big capital. So they have to slowly build the capital. Till then, if they should be provided by something else, other income than trading till then. That's what I feel like, because for me it's all about, I felt so insecure in my initial days because I was totally dependent on it. When I had a drawdown, it wasn't worth it at all. It was a nightmare, literally. So it's like, say I have a nine lakh capital, I had a drawdown on it. My capital is also going down, and I was thinking of this. So it was a nightmare, which I think nobody has to go through. It's not worth it for that 1 lakh you are going. So
Excellent.
with decent capital, one has to come in, and graduating people, if they have the background, they can test it. But most people will not have the background. They have to do it the full cycle, which I do.
And you're also an investor, Yogeshwar, if I'm not wrong. You're also um,
Yeah, I
invest.
always believed in investing. I also invest my trading profits.
Okay.
Uh, as I said in the start of the video, like first profit I fully invested, which the lucky trade which I made, fully invested. From there, I keep on investing, but I also don't like to pledge and trade them. It's like I do it on the other account where I never see it. Like right now, I don't see the account itself because I don't want to. Like I keep on investing them, leave it alone. I take like 10,000 here, 20,000 here, like invest them, leave it. I never see it. So that's the only way I can sit through a crash. Otherwise, I'll cut it out. It's like
So your
understanding myself.
philosophy is set and forget as far as
Yeah,
investing is concerned. Just set
yeah.
and forget. Okay. Excellent.
It's like I do mostly on frontline stocks, very rarely on mid caps, and mostly on ETFs. I stay with NiftyBs or Banks. I don't want to see them only. If I see, I will cut them. Like if I would have opened the account only, then 16,800, I would have cut everything.
This is called
So
understanding your behavioral, not I would
yeah,
not
yeah,
like
yeah.
to say flaws, your behavioral
Patterns.
Yeah,
aspects, and then
you're as a trader,
hacking.
that is your job actually. Understanding yourself. That's your job as a trader. So
Yeah,
if I'm bad at it, I can't live off it.
absolutely. This is a psychological hack. Like the same thing that works for me also is. So I have a portfolio, but it's pledged in Zerodha, so it doesn't show it in the holdings. You
Yeah.
have to go to the console and then you have to see there how much you're making. So on my trading terminal, it's not showing me. That
Yeah,
plays a big role. So I don't have to
yeah, yeah,
check it. It's not in my face that, oh, your portfolio has moved up or down by this much. And I think one more thing advantage that traders have is, since we're always booking, let's say we're booking profits in trading, that urge to book profits from investments is not there. Does that make
yeah,
sense? Because
yeah. Totally. I
yeah,
even set it in a separate broker which charges me more for the trades.
Hmm.
It's not like flat 20 rupees. Each trade should cost me more so that I feel the pain. If my entry should be painful. It should be like small quantities, should be bigger quantities so that I pay brokerage there itself. So I cut also, I should feel the pain. So I never open that account only. Just leave
Hmm.
it.
So you're
It's
increasing
like,
the barrier for yourself.
yeah, it's like,
That's a good way.
yeah,
I remember
see
some
one
of
more.
my smoker friends, doing this, increase the barrier. Like weird ways of, preventing them from touching the cigarettes.
and when you come into markets, such things, lot of such things you have to do. To stop USD trading, I like put a ban on everyone to watch USD. It's like I do such a lot of crazy things at office. It's like
It's
if someone
required.
talks
You
about
need to work around.
yeah, someone talks about USDINR going up, it's going to Yogesh Nanda sir says it's going to 84. Immediately I'll be taking up questions there. It's like I'm like I should know myself, right? So I'll say, sir, please don't talk about it till 5:30 or 5. After that you tell me it's okay. Yeah. Trading is such a place where there is no rules, so you have to trade.
Yeah.
You have to make your own little playground. And people might think what exactly is the thing here, but the summary is you have to really break yourself down and not lie to yourself. This is who I am. I have these
Yeah.
problems, I have these flaws. One thing for me is whenever I've taken, like, this has not happened in the recent 2 years or so, whenever I've taken a mark to market stop loss, which is my portfolio stop loss, every re-entry I've lost money every time. There's no exception. So I know that beyond a certain loss, I can't digest. I become desperate. So that's a flaw. So I have to cut it out. So I mean, sometimes now people will say, how come you don't feel like re-entering? I do. I know that. That's why I shut it down and I walk away. So you have to
Yeah.
hack.
Yeah.
You have to hack. So
It's like in my initial days, I was a huge like Nassim Nicholas Taleb fan, and it's like people who understand him ask me, "How come you're selling options? We're reading Taleb." It's like he can make money that way. I feel I can make this way only, so I'm selling options. It's even though I respect everything he holds on to, and most people who quote Taleb and FinTwit, they don't understand it completely. He's also seller of options. He just buys wings. Who plays directional quoting Taleb doesn't understand Taleb. He doesn't play directional. He sells volatility but sells the buys the wings. I
See,
can do only this. I can understand only this. I'm doing this. It's my hack. I will do it. That's it. I will do it properly.
yeah.
That's all
And
you have
Yogeshwar,
to.
you told about, as traders, one should thoroughly know about oneself. And in this process, you come across two things, right? Your strengths and weaknesses. But a lot of people I know, they try to improve on their weakness instead of doubling down on their strengths. So in trading, you can get a really quick success if you just focus on your strengths and stick to the principles which work in favor of you instead of, trying to change yourself or trying to increase your,
This is
convert your weaknesses into strengths. Instead of that, just double down on your strengths. You do much better.
yeah. This is where conventional society they teach always improve everywhere. They teach
Exactly.
it. This
Yeah.
is where this becomes a what to say. It backfires in trading. People
Correct.
like if you don't understand stock futures, don't trade it. Like yeah, reward is big, but risk is also big, which you can't digest. Most people don't get it, but they keep on trading it, saying
Correct.
I'll get better on it. Nifty futures man, they see a trader who makes money in Nifty futures. They also think they can make it. It's like, how can you make it? He's good at it. He spent so much time on it, and they think they can make it. Some guy making money consistently is compounding his money and buying options. He does that. They think he people think they can get the discipline he has, which is not possible. It's like you have to find what you're good at
Exactly.
and stick with it.
For example, I could never be a trend follower. I don't
Yeah.
have the psychology to hold on to the winners for that long. And it's my weakness. Okay. So I can improve on it or I can find my strength and double down on it.
Yes. Yes.
Correct. No. So I'd be better off if I just focus on my strengths and double down on it rather than, trying to find my weak spots and trying to improve on it. Okay. In other aspects of life, that works. It's there. Okay. If you're lagging in certain skills, you should definitely hone those skills and you should definitely. But when it comes to trading, it's the complete opposite.
Totally. Yeah. This you tell to people they don't. They think like what you say anything negative, people take it as you're discouraging them. It's like I people come to me, they say, "Can I trade?" I'm like, Why do you want to trade? It's very difficult." They think I'm discouraging them. They're not getting the point that it's very difficult to make money from trading. It's like you are making money, it must be easy. Like ऐसे कैसे होता है यार? It's like saying to a doctor, "I can I be a doctor?" It's like no, you can't be a doctor. That's a process really.
I think that I don't know why people think when you're at a screen and you're so-called printing money or whatever. They think, oh, there must be something you just know and you do it off. Actually, the only thing is you've stared at that screen for thousands of hours. That's what you have that they
It's like,
don't have.
say, take your example, like you are doing 20K quantity. People don't understand we started with 100 or 50 first and saw the
Exactly.
MTM fluctuations from that to 20K. Uh, you're a layman and you start with the 20K quantity, you're going to panic the shit out. That's what is
Exactly.
first going to happen. You won't make 1 lakh, you're going to blow your capital first. That's what happens. People straightly want that picture only. And
Absolutely.
this is what most people entering into markets also think, like we can make it to that point very easily, but before that there is going to be a lot of pain, and that pain you must go through yourself in your own way so that you can stick to the process for a longer time consistently. Because if you are taking someone else's process, you are going to just quit trading in your first roll. That's what happens to 95% of the people. um, that rest 5% they know a process which they can stick for long.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's been so nice talking to you, Yogeshwar. It's so like fresh to get such a raw perspective. And even you being so honest about, how you have certain compulsions and very, very straight about the whole thing. And yeah, this was a lot of fun. Thank you so much for doing this.
Yeah.
It was
It
fantastic,
was fun
Yogeshwar.
talking to you.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
absolutely fantastic. And thanks for doing this. And we look forward to having more conversations either through the podcast or offline. And yeah,
I'll be very glad.
Perfect. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope you had a lot to take away. I think there are so many small nitty-gritties in this episode that will seem so like okay, quite straightforward, but there's a lot of depth to it because that has been the journey. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this.
I hope that you guys are reading between the lines here, because a lot of content on trading is very straight to the point. मतलब यहाँ पे enter करो, यहाँ पे exit करो, ये strategy लो. But when you're listening to a person's journey, try reading in between the lines. So put yourself in his shoes and see whether you'd be able to handle the kind of drawdowns, handle the kind of emotional roller coaster that he has gone through. Then you'd be much better off listening to a podcast if you start reading between the lines. So I hope that you got a lot of value from this podcast, and thanks for listening. We'll see you in the next episode. Bye bye.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Shreyas, Praful.